friend is coming soon.
Reptilians, the Ancient Ones and the Anunnaki, understanding the difference. I am honored when another places trust in me, so therefore I am trustworthy. At present, just like for you, I cannot afford to eat every day. Whenever this situation pisses me off, which quite is often, I remind myself that there are countless others who are way worse off. That is always a sobering thought. And then I focus on every tiny thing I can ferret out that's good in my life. Depending on how bereft one is, this can take a moment or half a day. If you can't find anything good in present time, scan your memory banks for past pleasure moments and recall them. Once again, depending on your level of depression/despondency, this can be easy or difficult, but once one pleasure moment is accessed, a cascade phenomena starts to occur. If nasty memories surface or ones that cause pain, just ignore them, say, "Not going there," no sale, and doggedly pursue more pleasing reminiscences. Try it, works for me most of the time. Crying is good too sometimes, if nothing else works, very cathartic. Nothing wrong with unabashingly bawling your eyes out. It cleans all the dust out of your eyes, for a start. All things must pass. All is transitory. Your long dark tea time of the soul too will pass away. The malign ones may appear to promote or cause chaos. But in truth they are in fact terrified of true chaos. The type of chaos espoused by these types is not chaos, it is their imposition of order, and although the results/events may seem chaotic to humans, they are not. All the events are orchestrated, as you well know. They hate and despise the true chaos, the real goddess, not their disempowered/misempowered version of her, because she cannot be controlled, the energy that pervades and connects all, the power from which all forms arise, can never be controlled in the manner the malign ones would wish. It can be diverted, twisted, turned and inverted to create a labyrinth with which to bemuse and amaze, but, as you have pointed out, the unexpected happens when you least expect it, and it is that very thing that they hate and fear most. As it has been said, the best laid plans of mice and men go astray. Look to the ideas/things/all that are suppressed the most, for within the wisdom contained therein are clues to their undoing. Deepest purple, I have 3 words for you. Nil illegitimo carborundum, don't let the bastards grind you down. Take a lesson from the little birds. They still sing, even though it is winter, for they know the spring will come again. And while they wait, and times are hard, they have those such as yourself, to feed them, and they in turn, feed your soul with their presence. Do not fear that the cessation of the crop circles was loss of contact or a bad omen. It was not. Rather, it was simply harvest time in southern England, where 90% of the circles form. There will be more circles in due season. Like you, I too was aware that I was here to awaken the lost tribes of time, and indeed this was the original plan. However, as we have discovered, this has proved exceedingly difficult, nay, almost impossible. Contingency plans are being drawn up, and our only task at this time is simply to watch. The watcher reports and adjustments are made. As you have reiterated, there is no free will in a world where people are covertly manipulated and controlled, and one would think that this alone would be a wake-up call for humans, now that it has been exposed. But as I have said, this mission is proving to be much more difficult than was originally anticipated. No one ever said planet taming was easy, especially when high magic is afoot. We must be ever vigilant to avoid the machinations of Dr. von Hamster Wheel and Colonel Balzerschwedby. In the meantime I have been gleaning further info. I have turned my attention, once again, to obscure ancient earth texts. I share with you the following article. It was written to post in a forum of which I am a member, but to date I have not posted it. It is my hope that it will help you feel better. The texts confirm that the elder gods or Anunnaki were, in fact, not the first gods, and that a race or races known as the Ancient Ones predated the arrival of the elder gods, Anunnaki. The Ancient Ones had come from the stars many eons earlier and had established an extremely advanced culture. The Anunnaki, although initially accepted, and very technologically advanced themselves, subsequently caused immense problems and a war broke out. It seems this was no small battle, indeed, it changed the entire face of the earth and irrevocably altered the course of life thereon. The texts go on to say that the elder gods or the Anunnaki produced/created mankind as a slave/workforce. Were these Anunnaki the legendary dragons as some have suggested, or do the legends of these magical creatures and their nebulous world refer to the ancient race that existed prior to the arrival of the Anunnaki? Were they eradicated/modified by this invasion/rebellion? There are many who view the Anunnaki genetic modifications on this planet as an upgrade to the race of beings existing on Earth at the time, but considering the overweening arrogance and warlike behavior of the Anunnaki themselves and of some of our world leaders, who claim to be their descendants through their affiliations with various secret societies, it makes one wonder. As a species, man has more genetic defects, diseases than any other. Was the Anunnaki gene manipulation an upgrade? Or was it in fact a downgrade? Strangely, it clearly states in the Sumerian texts that the genes of the commander of the army of the Ancient Ones combined with Anunnaki genes were used to create man. Could be the true story behind the fall from paradise. It may be seen as odd that the Anunnaki would combine their own genes with that of their ancient enemy. However, it seems that they viewed this as some type of punishment or binding of the spirit of the Ancient Ones. According to Sumerian sacred texts, the elder gods, the Anunnaki, battled with and destroyed the Ancient Ones, and specifically Tiamat, their queen, the Ancient of Days, who is described as a great wicked serpent or mighty dragon. Also described are her many strange allies, serpent men, dragons, sphinxes, lion men, centaurs, dog men and scorpion men. The titanic battle raged for 10 years or more, laying waste to the earth and its inhabitants. The Anunnaki eventually won the battle and they divided up parts of the earth between them. It is only after this that mankind was created as a slave race. The Anunnaki were a race of warlords, for they often fought amongst themselves and involved humans in their endless power struggles and petty jealousies. It has been said that the myths of centaurs, satyrs, unicorns, dragons, elves etc. were the results of early genetic experiments of the Anunnaki, but the Sumerian texts state the creatures/monsters were allies of Tiamat. Were the original dragons/elves/fairy folk, in fact, the Ancient Ones spoken of in the texts? Did the Anunnaki destroy civilization, the mythical land before time, and by tampering with genetic codes, attempt genocide on a global scale and deliberately conceal any memory of or reference to this civilization? Did they teach mankind wonders or did they just twist and pervert ancient wisdom? No doubt there were runaway slaves hidden in the caverns of the earth and also other survivors who had escaped the unwelcome attentions of the Anunnaki and their captive breeding programs. The texts tell us that there were renegade Anunnaki as well, and it's speculated that Enki himself may have returned to the underworld. From these came the myths of Hollow Earth, Shambhala, Agartha, and legends of great treasures and mines guarded by the gnomes. Genomes? Elves and others, may have taken refuge in the mountains and forests and desolate places, giving rise to their own myths. As the world came more and more under the influence of the Anunnaki, many of these too, may have fled below the surface. It is well documented that there are vast networks of tunnels and huge caverns beneath the earth, some caused by volcanic activity and some artificial in origin. Anunnaki base discovered in the Busegi Mountains, the giant aliens that created mankind. Many strange cults sprang from these stories, many of which persist to this very day, which in itself has caused much mischief. It appears these elder gods/Anunnaki, were terrified of the Ancient Ones and dreaded their foretold return, fearing that they would reclaim the earth and take revenge on them. For this reason they devised many magical and other occult diverse means to prevent this from occurring. After all, this would mean that the slave race that the Anunnaki had created, and who contained the genetic codes of the Ancient Ones might awaken and seek their freedom. One can see that this would cause the Anunnaki overlords to be terror-stricken and would necessitate stringent control measures be imposed on the slaves. Thus was born religion and other hierarchical structures of control, suppression and subjugation. And what of humans, the odd genetic consequence of all of this meddling? Is this the reason why humanity seems to be suffering from collective post-traumatic stress disorder? As it says in the Sumerian texts, "Man is born of sadness, for he is of the blood of the ancient ones, but has the spirit of the elder gods breathed into him. And his heart goes to the ancient ones, but his mind is turned towards the elder gods, and this is the war which shall be always fought, unto the last generation of man, for the world is unnatural." Does this not imply that the previously understood natural order was disrupted in some fundamental way when the civilization of the ancients was destroyed? Is the famous cradle of civilization, in reality a coffin of a bygone golden age lost in the mists of time? We are told that civilization abruptly emerged 6,000 to 8,000 years ago in ancient Sumer, now known as Iraq. Could it be that at that time everything was altered by belligerent beings with dubious intent and ruthless methods? In the text the Anunnaki demonstrate their fear and hatred of the Ancient Ones, by describing them as crawling chaos and blaming them for all manner of hideous horror. But the texts also reveal the Anunnaki themselves, as a fierce, lustful, incestuous, bloodthirsty, deceitful, jealous and conquering race, with a vested interest in keeping their creations ignorant about their true origins. That being the case, we can speculate that the ways of the ancients were diametrically opposed to those of the Anunnaki. Were the Ancient Ones aware of and did they utilize chaos theory and the fractal nature of consciousness in the creation of their forgotten world? And humanity, blissfully unaware of all this for the most part, still struggles on living the lies and bearing the terrible karmic burden of these unspeakable deeds. But it is also written, "Know that Tiamat seeks ever to rise to the stars, and when the upper is united to the lower, then a new age will come of earth, and the serpent shall be made whole, and the waters will be as one." Speaking of water, if you have ever had any doubt that your thoughts affect everything in and around you, this info will put that doubt to rest. Humanity may yet become as wise as a serpent/dragon and as gentle as a dove, when we recognize and accept our own personal power and wield this power with wisdom and responsibility. Then what is gainless communion with the earth and star energies, converse with the dragon currents in the land below and the constellations above. When this power is exploited, abused or unacknowledged, these energies take the form of one shadow and will be a source of trouble until resolution is born. Always remember we came to this place to transform errant energies, thereby reconnecting and reweaving threads long broken, to restore that which was lost. I know only too well that to be a dragon on this earth in these strange days is fraught with peril, but it has long been so. In this bad place it is all too easy to become ensnared in the collective thought form, which is extremely hostile to beings like us. We must ever strive to remember, redeem and refine our own being, and as we do we will find that being in touch with the mysteries of the multiverses. This only scratches the surface. I am making some significant connections, for me at least, of late, and if you are interested, I can continue to share them with you. Looking forward to hearing from you again.
Please like us and share with your social media. Please subscribe and click the bell to be notified of our new videos.
Remember to check out our playlist for important intel you may have missed.
Be sure to enter our subscriber appreciation $100 monthly giveaway. The link is in our description.
And visit our sister channel. Event is coming soon. For additional intel and information,
Stay tuned.
Victory of the Light.